Hi, Carol. I appreciate your reflections, and we all have a lot to learn, but teaching online, there is a lot to learn. And but the skills, as you mentioned, aren't out of reach. But something to keep in mind is you're in an immersive course, so a student typically isn't going to experience this many new technologies or skills needed in an online course. But we're kind of throwing the book at you, so keep that in mind. But yeah, you're in a new environment, so the skill set will seem somewhat overwhelming. And I look forward to hearing more about visual and verbal as you unpack that. Boy, clear instructions are so important, and it is a lot of time. You know, you mentioned your 10 hours a week. It is so easy to get lost in the time. That's why teaching online is an art and it's a discipline, and there will be tips and tricks that you pick up along the way. Initially, your first course or two will be a lot more work until you become more skilled and streamlined and kind of, right now everything is new, but at some point some of this will be very easy for you to do, um, and if you can imagine that. Yeah, there are a lot of clicks, and I've done a lot of study on the user experience, and right now there's a lot of things that we're using that could be streamlined more into Blackboard, but sometimes Blackboard doesn't always play well with other technologies, and it's one of the reasons we're moving to another LMS, and we'll be transitioning out of Blackboard this year. But some of the technologies, and there's a challenge in a learning management system, is to just use that, the affordances that are within the system itself. But most students are, and most of us are, we have apps. We have Food Gawker if we want to cook. We have Twitter if we want to get on social media, or Facebook. We have our online banking app. So online learning is an kind of a conglomeration of the interaction of all these different tools, and most of the tools have to be integrated into a learning management system through an API, which is a fancy way of saying they've got to get plugged in. And if you're going to plug those in, sometimes it requires to make it go from outside in to plug it in to make it real quick and cut out a lot of the clicks. A lot of times requires a site license, which can be cost prohibitive. You'll be using something in Module 2 called VoiceThread. We have a site license, but it won't be set up and fully functional until the fall, which makes it a lot easier. You'll be going, you'll sign up for an account this coming week in a thing called VoiceThread. But we have a site license which will now make it, whether we're going to be in Blackboard or Canvas, all you'll have to do is click and go in. You won't have to do any of the back end clicks. But again, that's $10,000 a year for us here at Hardin Simmons, and there's only a few of those that we can actually afford. So I hope that helps. Um, it will take a lot of time. We have a regular process, an instructional designer that can help you. So if you're going to develop an online course, I assure you that while it is work, it won't be as much work um, initially that you might think it is based on this current experience. But we try to set you up to succeed. But that's one reason, knowing the realities, that we give a healthy stipend for course development, because it is a lot of work. I am so glad that you're in this class, and I've really enjoyed all of your comments and observations, and I look forward to seeing you continue to develop as an online instructor.